And a friend of President Trump's for a long time. You've known him from Celebrity Apprentice. What's your take on his job performance so far? Are you supportive of the way he's handling the office?
Why do you care?
I'd be interested to see what you think. And you've known him
It's
for a
all
long
nonsense. It's all clickbait. When I was first starting to vote, there used to be a curtain, and you voted anonymously, and you voted your conscience.
Welcome back, everybody, and thanks for choosing to hang out with your host, the Conservative Bird, and me, Double D, and you're on the Brick Road Podcast.
Heck, everybody, make sure to hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, and smash the notification. It's literally the easy and free way to help this channel grow as big as possible. Double D, it seems like Trump is taking on the entertainment industry. Now, this could be a good thing. This could be a bad thing. You know, obviously you're going to have yings and yangs. You're going to have people on both sides saying no and yes. So I don't really know too much about it yet. We're going to look into it here, but I know you looked into it a little bit, right?
I did check it out a little bit. Basically, what Trump's biggest concern are the antitrust laws, a monopoly in the entertainment industry. Obviously, these situations have happened other times in the past, and other presidents have broken up monopolies. Ronald Reagan included. He broke up. Remember well, you were too young, but Pacific Bell, American Bell, Ohio Bell, New York Bell, Southern Bell. Bell used to control all of those, and then you had AT&T coming along. You had Ameritech. You get the idea.
Yes, yes.
Ronald Reagan broke up that monopoly right away, which is why, and what it did is it actually it raised the competition and lowered prices in the long run. So there's a lot of good things that could come out of that.
Right. And I know when Fox acquired Disney not too long ago, a couple years ago, this similar thing kind of happened where they were like, hold on, we got to make sure that this isn't being a complete monopoly. And I believe that they actually made Disney sell off some of the assets that they acquired from Fox in order to get things that they wanted, like the Marvel franchise and other things of that nature. So, this has happened before. They might not even say it does go through with Netflix. They might not let them keep everything, to monopolize in that aspect. But,
right.
I think it's a wait and see kind of thing. And I'm pretty sure this is just standard procedure, to be honest.
Pretty much. I mean, honestly, whenever big corporations like that are doing mergers and it does run the risk of, basically a takeover of the entire industry, yet you have to look at it. And the bottom line is they got to put the work in. They got to take the time, and they got to make sure that all's good and all's well in Hollywood. You know what I mean?
Right.
Before that deal goes through. I mean, personally, that's what I think is basically what's happening here.
Okay.
And, Donald Trump has experience in the entertainment industry also. This is not something new to him. You know what I mean?
Yep.
He's been in Hollywood on and off for 20, 25 years, maybe even 30 years if you include the Home Alone movies.
Yeah, that's true. So he's been in the scene since forever. It's not like he's new to anything. So
exactly.
If anybody doesn't know what's going on right now, Netflix is currently trying to acquire Warner Brothers for they're saying $72 billion, but it's $82.7 billion enterprise value, which is including a debt that they owe. So they're getting $72 billion in cash, and plus their debt paid off to sell off the franchise, right? And
exactly. Yes.
All Trump is doing is basically saying, "Hey, we just want to make sure it's all being done legal, and if it's not a complete monopoly."
And it's on the up and up. You know what I mean? And honestly, it probably is. But obviously, Paramount has a problem with that because they were trying to acquire it first, weren't they? Weren't they trying to acquire it first?
No, it's Netflix.
Or no, Paramount's trying to. Yeah, I know, but Netflix is acquiring Warner Brothers. But didn't Paramount want a shot at it too, and Netflix outbid them, right?
No, Netflix is currently the lower bidder. Paramount outbid them by $30 billion, roughly.
Oh, gotcha.
So,
Gotcha, okay.
and I believe theirs is an all cash value, and I'm
So
not
Paramount
sure
offered like 110 billion then.
exactly. So we'll see. I don't know. Let's hear Trump talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good idea. Let that clip roll, Bird.
What about Netflix and Warner Brothers?
Well, that's got to go through a process, and we'll see what happens. Netflix is a great company, and they've done a phenomenal job. Ted is a fantastic man. I have a lot of respect for him, but it's a lot of market share. So we'll have to see what happens.
How have you prepared to host tonight?
Well, maybe I haven't prepared. Maybe you want to be a little bit loose. If you look at the great hosts, Johnny Carson, Bob Hope, those are the greats. If you look at the not-so-greats, like Jimmy Kimmel, he was just terrible. But, no, I think you want to be loose and not a lot to prepare for.
Yeah, it's funny because he's not taking on the entertainment industry just in a political aspect. He's also taking shots at him in the media too,
and on the personal level too. At the same time, he really has a hard on for Jimmy Kimmel, and I don't blame him.
It's great.
Jimmy Kimmel has been pretty much, egging on for what, 10 years now?
Yep.
So everything that he gets back thrown at him, I don't have any empathy, sympathy whatsoever. I say, you know what? The president's just telling the truth.
Yeah.
Been brutally honest.
That's true.
You have to be yourself.
I've been asking your cabinet tonight, is this going to be more Johnny Carson or Don Rickles?
Well, Don, I know them both, and they were both great guys and friends of mine. Both difficult. Very difficult, but great. I mean, I was really very close to both of them. You can't compare them; they were very different.
Why did you want
But Johnny Carson for hosting was top of the line.
That's great.
I agree with that, Johnny. I think Johnny, and then even who was that little dude that took over afterwards? The little Italian dude that took over the show after Johnny Carson.
Oh man, I don't remember. Oh yeah.
Jay Leno.
I like Jay Leno. So we know the liberal media had to throw their 2 cents into it. So CNN,
of course they did.
CNN, they're always going to want to say what the real narrative is. And so I haven't really listened to this yet. I'll guarantee they say that Trump just is doing this all because he wants to have someone do it that's in his favor and blah, 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 when it's literally just standard procedure from what I've known.
I mean, that's kind of what it looks like. I think like he said it right there. He's like, you got to at least look into it. We're talking about a very big multi-$100 billion deal. And that can affect the entertainment industry all the way around. You got to at least say, okay, hey, let's make sure it's all on the up and up. That's all.
Right.
I think that's all.
Cautiously on Netflix's $72 billion deal to buy Warner Brothers and HBO.
Well, that's got to go through a process.
All right, this is what we just see.
Netflix is a great company. They've done a phenomenal job. Ted is a fantastic man. I have a lot of respect for him, but it's a lot of market share. So we'll have to see what happens.
The president did say the deal could be a, quote, problem because of the market share of the company would have if the deal goes through. Warner Brothers Discovery, of course, is CNN's parent company, and the group chat is back. Sarah, I want to go to you because the first thing everyone thought about this conversation was that Paramount and the Ellison family, and they had close ties to Trump, and therefore they were going to be the people who could win over regulators. What do you make of Trump talking kindly about Netflix?
So any of the 3 suitors for this asset would have gone through an investigation on the regulatory side, no question.
Because all of them would have led to.
Can we time it for just a quick second?
And this is a senior meeting. What? Go ahead.
Did you catch what she said? She basically, we might have to rewind it, but she's basically. It sounds to me like she's trying to minimalize the importance of what Trump is saying about it.
Yeah.
It almost is like she's trying to interpret it as he's meddling.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like he's trying to get Paramount to get it because it'll favor his friends more than somebody else.
Yeah, I kind of got the feeling that's what she's trying to say.
When this lady, this senior media reporter for Axios, just basically schooled her and said, no matter what company, all three of them, it would have been gone through the same process because this is just how things are done.
Just the way it goes, right? Yeah, exactly. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off on that.
Oh, you're good.
I caught that. I'm just like, man, they cannot stop with that media slant, can they?
It's crazy.
They just can't. They are compelled, dude. They can't help themselves. It's almost as if they're afraid of truth.
Right. It's true. They are. Well, what it is they're afraid. They're too prideful to be wrong. They can't admit when they're wrong. So what it is they think that they're right, and they think that they're right so much that they don't think that they'll ever be wrong.
Fair enough.
Massive holding.
Consolidation where they would have had more market share, sure. The key differentiator is, would Trump's DOJ sue to block one deal over another? And it was perceived that because of Ellison's relationship with Trump, they'd be more likely to sue to block the other bidders, which would be Netflix and Comcast. The challenge, though, Audie, is that even if you sue to block a deal, an independent judge is ultimately the one that's going to make the final call. So all three of these bids would have regulatory scrutiny. Why Netflix was chosen, ultimately, my sources have told me, is because their deal had clean cash and that the Warner Brothers Discovery folks thought they could actually close it. They had the money. They don't have to worry about raising from sovereign wealth funds or private equity firms. And so they felt that this particular bid was the one most likely to close. Yeah. And if you are a board, you need to have your shareholders' best interests. Closing the deal financially is very important, especially when all of the bids would have had regulatory scrutiny on it.
Yo, look at this. Look at the look on their faces. Look how fucking salty they are. Look how they're like, no, it's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. It's Trump's fault. No, this lady just told you this is exactly what they do. This is standard procedure no matter what happened. I remember something similar like this happened with Disney and happened with Fox. It happens all the time. These people can't stand to be wrong, dude. They can't. They just don't like being wrong, except they're wrong 99% of the time.
You know what they hate more than being wrong?
Donald Trump
being right.
No,
Trump
yeah,
being right.
And I understand now what's going on from what this lady's saying and looking at the thing now.
They're just going through procedures.
It's just standard procedure.
Yeah, they're just going through the motion, like she said. It's going to be a judge who determines.
Netflix might be the one to get the deal because they put the bid in first, and Warner Brothers accepted it.
Right.
So
Paramount
they might still
get it.
Yeah, Netflix might still be.
They're offering $30 billion more.
Exactly. It could go either way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to hear what these idiots have to say.
Yeah, and just to be clear, because of the way this deal is structured, it would make it so that CNN and other cable networks would spin off into their own company. Netflix would sort of absorb HBO and Warner Brothers and its big library. I bring this up because Hollywood is not happy. You hear people really upset. Actress Jane Fonda was writing, consolidation at this scale would be catastrophic for an industry built on free expression, for the creative workers who power it. It's sort of interesting response here from...
That makes...
Are we talking about the same woman who loves communism, where free expression is against the law?
Where is the logic in this, right? Since when doesn't Netflix allow you to have freedom of expression? This is the same company that Dave Chappelle said a tranny joke, and they had a tranny work in there, and they decided to stick up for him and said, if you don't like it, kick rocks.
Right, exactly.
Since when doesn't Netflix give you a freedom of expression? I don't understand that.
She's trying to. What Jane Fonda is trying to do is suggest that she's suggesting that Trump's involvement, which is very minimal in the end, because like the woman said, the final decision's made by a judge anyway. So Trump's really doing nothing more than just guiding the powers involved to sit down and make sure that everything's legitimate first. This has nothing to do with free speech or independent media ecosystems or creative workers who power it. None of that's going to change. It's just not. It's not. The only thing that's going to change is CNN might actually go bankrupt themselves because they're going to become independent.
But tell me where this makes any sense though. How are they?
It's CNN's fear.
No, well, I'm talking about whatever who is this Jane Fonda that said this. This is they give you a freedom of expression, dude. Adam Sandler works
Pretty
for
much,
them.
Yeah. I don't see. I don't see any. Dude, Jane Fonda. When anything that comes out of Jane Fonda's mouth, I pretty much since I was a little kid, all I've ever known her to be is Hanoi Jane. All right, and she hasn't changed one bit. And she's not even that good of an actress. Let's be honest.
Never was.
The only reason she was so popular in her day is because she was smoking fucking hot. You take away that category, dude. If she was in the category of looks like a Rosie O'Donnell and I love Roseanne Barr. This is not a diss at Roseanne Barr. I love Roseanne, but she wasn't the most attractive woman on TV. It's just a fact. All right. Yeah. So the point being is Jane Fonda's her only real mark of fame is her looks. Other than that, she's a freaking idiot.
The different communities.
For sure. And the whole idea is, or one of the ideas, are movies going to be released in movie theaters, or is that going to be a thing of the past? Is this going to become
Nobody's going to stop doing movies in the theaters.
Is Netflix watching things at home, the release going to be how it is now? I'm interested in what the president's involvement is in this. He confirmed last night that he met with the head of
that's all that
Netflix,
matters.
which we did not know.
That's all that matters to them, Bird. That's it. They don't even care that it's a good thing.
Number one, since COVID, it's just a fact that movies have been gone down anyway. Nobody really goes to the movies as much anymore. No, regardless, it's a rarity. So it's already a trend that's been happening. That's not going to stop it anymore.
Since like 1988, by the way.
Right, like nobody really goes to the movies as much anymore. People go out to movies on a very rarity nowadays.
Right. It's not like it used to be, because you used to have to go to movies to see a movie.
But
a movie used to be $1.
Well, nowadays you can get a TV damn near the size of a movie theater in your living room. Just watch it
for the cost of 3 family trips to the theater.
Right,
and then popcorn, the soda, and the tickets. You're at $200 easy for 4 people.
Right, and then just all you got to do is just go, sit down on your couch and order Netflix, and you're good to go.
Yeah, dude, I have a projector. I can order Netflix and I can watch it on 300 inches if I want.
Exactly.
Before in the Oval Office last week, presumably
exactly.
before the deal was announced, or right around that time, he is very interested in all these subjects, from movies to media to other things. So a lot of regulatory things the White House is not all that focused on. This is not a very strict regulation kind of ethos in the White House, but I think he is going to.
The backdrop to this is the Supreme Court case over this Federal Trade Commission chair, which is literally about, can you put a loyalist in? Can you fire someone at will who's at an independent agency?
Yes. Okay, so let's separate 2 things. On the Netflix side, President Trump can try to put his finger on the pulse all he wants. At the end of the day, if his DOJ is even directed to sue to block this for political reasons, or to not block this for political reasons, it all comes down to an independent judge in court. The FTC situation is a little bit different. Basically, the Supreme Court is going to decide, does the executive branch have the power to fire the heads of what are supposed to be independent agencies? If they say he does, that is a massive shakeup for the media and technology, regulatory world writ large. Because what essentially it would indicate is that these agencies that are supposed to regulate our utilities and our companies are not actually independent. It would have far-reaching repercussions, not just for the FTC, but for other heads of departments that Trump has tried to get rid of. I think about the Copyright Office, etc.
Look at the smug look on their faces that they had about this. They were so upset that this lady did not come in there and just completely blame Donald Trump and bash Donald Trump. She actually said, no, this has nothing to do with Trump. They can do all they want, but it has nothing to do with them. At the end of the day, it is an independent judge that decide what's happening with the case and what is not happening with the case. It's crazy.
Exactly.
It's crazy. So, then we have Paramount stepping in and doing their bid with trying to drop $108 billion with $30 per share in cash money.
Now I heard on the radio the other day that the $30 a share, they were going to buy up 51% of the shares as a hostile takeover. And so that way that Discovery deal is an almost guarantee for them. And at the same time, force Netflix out of the whole bargain anyway. I don't know how that's actually going to work out.
So, of course,
it has worked. It's worked out in the past. It's also not. So.
Right. So, of course, because, people, tie Donald Trump to owners of Paramount, saying that they're friends. Of course, Democrats are going to be against the Paramount deal with Warner Brothers, right? So we have a few Democrat lawmakers that decided to open their mouth about it, I guess. And I'm not sure who it is, and I haven't really heard it just yet. But it is two Democrat lawmakers are raising concern with Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav over the national security implication of Paramount's bid, which includes Saudi Arabia's investment fund and other Middle Eastern investors. Now, I can see that, okay, if there are Saudis and Middle Eastern, I can see that, so I would pause it and make sure, see if what this guy is saying is true. Because just because he's saying it, that doesn't mean that it's true or that that's actually what happened. Is happening. But I do agree that if that is what's happening, we need to pay attention.
I agree that I mean, if there's any concerns being raised, especially if there's foreign influence, because keep in mind, if you got foreign influence in Hollywood, you've got them, you basically have them directing the propaganda too. So I can understand. I mean, honestly, I'm surprised it's two Democrats and not two Republicans.
Yeah.
Honestly, that part surprises me. So like your old saying goes.
So
even a broken clock is right twice a day.
That's very true. At 6:35 and 6:35, they're right.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, who knows? Let's see. Maybe there is reason to believe there's Saudi and foreign, investors involved, and that could pose a risk to national security.
Definitely.
Or at the same time, there could be foreign and Saudi investors that don't pose a threat to national security. So, but it's still worth looking.
Yeah, definitely. So let's.
It's always worth taking a look.
For sure. So here's who they are.
Representative Sam Liccardo, Democrat California, and Representative Ayanna Pressley, Democrat Massachusetts, wrote in a letter to Zaslav. This transaction raises national security concerns because it could transfer substantial influence over one of the largest American media companies to foreign-backed financiers. If Warner proceeds with any transaction involving foreign sovereign or state-linked investors, we demand that the company immediately file a notice with the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, CFIUS, and submit the transaction for a full national security review.
So hold on a minute. Before we get into anything, right? Were these fucking retarded demon rats the same way with Eric Swalwell when he got caught with the Chinese spy that we don't want foreign? Right? Did they ask for him to be kicked out of Congress? This is why I don't believe these fucking retards. Right? This is why I don't believe these idiots, dude. Seriously. This is why I can't believe anything they're saying now.
I mean, it could possibly just be. The one Democrat is from California, so he does have a vested interest.
Nah, dude. If these Democrats did not call for Eric Swalwell to be kicked out of Congress, I don't want to hear shit that any of them say.
Well, I understand where you're coming with that, Bert. I'm just talking about this particular situation.
Yeah,
in this situation, again, I'm surprised.
I think they're lying.
Republicans.
No, I think they're lying. That's why I think they're trying to do this because they don't want it to go down. I don't believe anything they're saying. They're lying. They're worthless. These Democrats are so worthless nowadays.
Well, I mean, I don't care about that. I don't even remember the guy's name, and we've read it twice. But my point is anytime there's, because that, like I said about the propaganda thing, dude, you don't want your top media companies being controlled by foreign influence. Now, with that said, I'm really surprised that 2 Democrats have a problem with that, because they've had no problem with the Chinese and TikTok and their involvement when Twitter and, on Facebook. They had no problem with their trolls. They had no problem with their bots. They had no problem with them dividing people on TikTok and Instagram. So they had no problem with the Chinese doing it, but they do have a problem with interference from Saudi Arabia, who, by the way, is actually a better ally to America than, unfortunately, China is.
Crazy.
The rest of the Middle East, not so much. But Saudi Arabia is definitely our ally.
Right. So, on to some other news, which also has to do with entertainment. We have the American Music Fairness Act. So, if anybody doesn't know what that is, well,
we're going to go ahead and tell them.
So what it is it's proposed U.S. legislation aiming to ensure recording artists and copyright owners get paid royalties when their music is played on AM, FM radio. So basically for the past, forever, I guess.
100 years, basically 100 years.
100 years, we'll say, when the radio plays your song, they pay a small royalty to the company, and
to the company and the writer,
and before the internet and everything, that's because the radio was used more so as a promotional tool.
To sell records,
exactly, because that was the only way to go global and national, was to have your songs on the radio. Like, you prayed for your songs to be on the radio, if you were wanted to become a mainstream artist.
But today, with
the internet technology,
and downloads, and you can, what I mean, and you can watch.
You could find people on TikTok and YouTube and everything.
Well, here's the thing: social media and streaming services have to pay the artist.
Right.
They have to pay the performer.
Yep.
It's only the AM and FM radios that have been exempt from that for the last 100 years. They made sure that all the digital companies were, caught up in that in the early 2000s. They made sure to fix that. They fixed that demon right away. But they left the other one untouched. That's where we're at now.
I'll tell you this, Double D. I'll guarantee it's not just the radio companies, and it's also the record labels. The record labels,
absolutely.
The record labels have a contract with these radio companies, and they're like, okay, you pay us royalties for allowing us to give you our music from our artist, and for us, we'll use it as our artist for a free promotional tool. So it's a win-win. We're making money every time you play the song, and it's giving us free promotion around the country. Could be around, wherever, depending on how far the company reaches. It's free promotion, and they're getting paid.
But unfortunately, the artist who's actually doing the performance, who's actually singing or playing the guitar or playing the drums, the artist, unfortunately, is unprotected in that whole thing. And now digitally, streaming services, again, the artists, they closed that deal 20 years ago.
Exactly.
But they're not getting anything from the radio stations, and the radio stations are making money from the advertisers. Again, you go back in history, and the reason why was because that was like free advertising for your record. You got to sell records because your music was played on there, but you don't sell records today.
Right.
And Gene Simmons is going to say it best in this video when he explains it's not even so much about the musicians of the past. This is about protecting musicians and artists
going forward, right? Going forward and making sure that they're properly compensated, so people are getting properly compensated for their work.
Exactly. And Gene goes into very good detail about that.
To simply say, this is why we need to do it today.
We have to do it today because AI is right around the corner. This is an archaic injustice that's been around for a long time, and there's no reason why we should get in the middle of it. It's un-American. The basic premise of America is, pardon me for simplifying it, I was a 6th grade teacher. If you work hard, you should get paid.
Okay, let me ask you about something else.
He's very right. He is very, very right. If you work hard and you put in the work and you put it in, you should get paid. And I agree that these artists, if the companies are getting paid from the record companies to play the music, they should be paying the artists for playing their music. That's just how it should go.
Bird, before you play that clip again, you realize the first thing he mentioned was AI is right around the corner. He knows that AI, music, art, movies, all that, they're all going to become, it's already happening. All right. But right now, they're probably getting cheated more than anybody because they're not making any money off of their stuff unless you get an Apple Play or something like that. Or if you get lucky enough to get a Spotify spot with your AI music. But that's in the digital market.
Yeah.
The radio stations aren't going to play AI right now because there's no regulation, but the streaming services are paying on those. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So Gene's right. This is about going forward.
Yeah.
This is all about going forward.
This is about the talent of the talent of the future.
Yeah.
So I go to church, and I live in a neighborhood in Nashville where we have a lot of session singers and musicians, background vocalists that are there. Talk about the significance to those artists of getting those pennies on the spin.
It's often, when you mentioned Elvis and Frank Sinatra and everything, we're talking big ideas because they've scratched and worked their way to the top. The new artists really need these pennies when they get heard as their career starts on radio, but there's no income. How do they get there? How do they claw their way up to the top with the help of radio? And again, I'm not here to demonize Mr. Hinton or the radio stations. We need each other. Performers need radio. Radio needs performers.
He's right.
But
it goes hand in hand.
Absolutely. He's absolutely right. And like again, in Gene's day, you went and you pressed an album, you made 20,000 copies, you sold those 20,000 copies, you pressed another 20,000 and you sold those. But that's not an option today.
No, that's just not how things are done. So you got to make sure you protect the artists.
In the future, they're gonna rely on this bill changing the game for them so that they can at least survive in the industry. Otherwise, they're going to get washed up.
Yeah, I mean,
and spit out.
The greatest thing about this is Gene Simmons is like at the end of his career. He's not even in his career anymore. This is about the future. This is not about the past. This is about the present, and this is about the future. This is about going forward, making sure that artists are compensated properly for their work. And that's that. That's all it is.
Yeah, absolutely. And he really says it best coming up in this next statement, too. He pretty much, it's not very long. It's only a couple of minutes, but you'll see what I'm saying. Go ahead and let it roll.
For God's sakes, equitable doesn't mean you get zero, and radio makes $14 billion just this last year. That's not equitable. I know it's a big word like gymnasium, but come on, Hinton. Let's get with it. Let's become American.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yep. Senator Schiff. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to my colleague, Alex Padilla, for this legislation. Appreciate all of you testifying today. Mr. Simmons, I want to ask you about the song Beth, but you're not here for that, so I'm not going to. What I would, and I love that song. I love all your songs. And thank you for bringing my Cusimano constituents with you. What I'd like to ask you, you've been obviously performing for quite a while. When you began your career, there was a kind of understanding that I think was the rationale for this injustice that, well, if radio stations are playing your music, you're getting advertising, more people are buying your albums. Obviously, the industry has completely changed.
Yep.
And the way people access music has completely changed. But if you could talk a little bit about how the industry has evolved and what it means today not to be compensated. That is, I would imagine whatever promotional value you get of your songs played on the radio doesn't somehow create enough recompense to make up for the lack of being paid for those songs being played on the radio.
Well, first and foremost, what you say is...
I liked it. That was Adam Schiff, right?
Yeah, that was Adam Schiff. Yeah, I agree with him.
I agree that I feel like this is something that has nothing to do with being Republican or Democrat. This
Absolutely
is just
not.
this is
about doing the right thing.
This should just be something that's done nowadays. You know, they should be compensated, especially if the radio stations are making $14 billion this year.
Now he's talking overall.
I know.
He's talking about like 99.5 WLMS. He's talking about radio stations. And then you got the smaller districts, like in little rural areas where their audience is obviously a lot smaller and their advertising dollars are a lot smaller. So there will be stipulations that exclude the smaller markets from that. So it's not like they're going after the little guy either.
Okay.
They're going after the big guys. Hinton, he owns 4 networks.
Okay.
But that spreads across like 8 states.
That's
a hell of a lot. You know what I'm saying? We're not talking about some guy who's in Xenia, Ohio with his little one radio station in the middle of the highway. You know, like on Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? You know what I'm saying? It's not what we're talking about here.
But I want to cut to the chase, which is when we first began, we were 4 knuckleheads off the streets of New York who could barely spell, read, or write. We just happened by ourselves. We never knew. No one. Artists are not qualified to understand the business model. We didn't have a business manager. I didn't know that once you get a song that goes on radio is not going to pay you to play the song. But they will have the right, I will say this again, they have the right to use our name and likeness. And you're talking about trademarks. Right. You use my trademark without my permission. Otherwise, I'm going to take your house and your firstborn. Are you kidding me? So radio uses billboards across the country's highways of America to promote the radio stations so that people will tune into their station because they are hearing our voice on their station so they can sell advertising. And more power to you. You should be making more money, become more successful, but the new artists are not going to get their fair shake. There are barely record companies left. Yep. The entire music industry is in disarray, and all these pennies are so important, especially for tomorrow's stars.
I agree with them. I agree with them 100%.
Yeah, I know he's absolutely right, dude. This is about protecting artists of the future, or even artists like myself, dude. I mean, you know, I'm a musician. It would be nice to get paid for my work.
Exactly, you know, and rightfully so. If you put in the time, the effort to have the creativity to do it, you know how to do it. You took the time to learn how to play the guitar, you know, all that. You deserve it. You deserve to make the money if people want to listen to it.
Exactly. And now the AI market's a little different because they actually do pay. I'm not going to lie. The AI streaming services. But there's been a country song called Walk That Walk by, what was it, something Rust. I forget the name of the actual artist's AI artist. But they've been playing his song on radio stations now.
That's crazy.
But they're not paying him. And I get it. It's an AI thing. And people are like, well, it's not the same. But it is the same. If you create a product that people want to buy and a radio station is playing that product to get people to buy, then yeah, that artist, even if he didn't have the same amount of work put in, still deserves his compensation. And that's where I want to commend Adam Schiff. Now, we didn't hear that part because Adam Schiff says that earlier on, and we're not going to rewind to go to that. So I'm just going to summarize it for you. But he basically wants to see AI artists included in this in the future. And I agree with you, Adam Schiff, on that one. So there are 2 Democrats in 1 week that I agree with. It's probably not going to happen again for another couple years, so enjoy your win.
Gene, you've been a friend of President Trump's for a long time. You've known him from Celebrity Apprentice. What's your take on his job performance so far? Are you supportive of the way he's handling the office?
Why do you care?
Exactly. Why do you care? What does it matter? What Gene Simmons is proposing with this act has nothing to do with being friends with Trump or not being friends with Trump.
Nothing whatsoever.
Mind you, he said that he talked to Trump and Trump told him that he will sign it if it comes to his desk.
Exactly. Trump will definitely sign it.
Trump's all about people being able to make money.
To do with their friendship, though.
No, it has nothing
to do with their friendship.
It has nothing even to do with Gene Simmons. He already made his money.
Exactly. He's
people
worried
are
about his
brain dead, dude. They're just so fucking brain dead.
He's worried about his daughter's music career. Sophie Simmons, the girl who was sitting behind him, that's his daughter, Sophie. She has a beautiful voice, dude. She's a phenomenal singer. Nick Simmons, his son, and Evan Stanley, Paul Stanley, they're doing like a Simon and Garfunkel type thing, dude. They're like, I mean, I'll be honest, it looks kind of like fruity to me, but whatever, that's their thing. I mean, hey, whatever. I mean, I think some of the way that they're trying to, market their product is a little on the goofy side, but what choice do they have?
Hey,
seriously.
Hey.
Well, I'd be interested to see what you think. And you've known him for
all nonsense. It's all clickbait.
Yeah, seriously.
When I was first starting to vote, there used to be a curtain, and you voted anonymously, and you voted your conscience. And nowadays, people want to know who you're voting for. What the fuck business is anybody's? None of your business. That's why every person, one vote makes the difference. And you guys inflame the situation by asking people, so, who did you vote for? Who are you for? You for Gorilla Monsoon or President Biden? Give yourself a break, because it bears noting that both sides of a currency look completely different, but they both have the right to say they're a dollar bill.
I love that he said Gorilla Monsoon or Joe Biden.
I know, I caught that. That was hilarious.
Oh, man.
I'm trying to remember who.
he is right. If you don't want to say who you voted for, you have every right to not say who you voted for.
And you shouldn't be ostracized for not wanting to give that point of view.
Right.
And you certainly shouldn't be canceled or humiliated
for it.
And we've seen a lot of that for
I go out in public wearing my MAGA hat, so I don't care.
Exactly, but we're used to the ridicule and we're used to being hated. I'm cool with it. I mean, so was Gene. Gene was used to being hated. People hated Kiss back in the day. But
they thought they were demonic and stuff like that.
Yeah, nice in Satan's service. We just watched Detroit Rock City the other day, and
for sure. No, 1,000%.
And I don't even, honestly, he probably didn't even vote for Donald Trump. For all we know, he may have not even voted.
Yeah,
but I believe Gene Simmons probably did vote, though.
Yeah,
he's that personality. He's like us when it comes to that. We vote. I got a feeling he does too.
Yeah.
But go ahead, let that clip roll. Let it go ahead and finish.
So the person who disagrees with you has the same rights to say that they're America.
Very true.
I don't care who I like and who I don't like. I'm nobody. I stick my tongue out for a living. I would do that now, except the floor's dirty. No, don't ignore that. That was very funny.
That was great.
Thank you. How long have you been a couple?
This just for today.
Okay.
What are you most excited about tonight?
I have a hot chick with me. And,
there you go.
I'm set.
First he asked him, how long have you two been a couple? And they asked him, what's the most important thing? I got a hot chick with me. I love it.
and that was it. That's pretty much it. That's how he finishes it. I'm set. He's like, I got a hot chick with me, and I'm set. It's nobody's business who he voted for. He was there for one reason, in support of the American Music Fairness Act, which I am fully in favor of, and it appears that so is the bipartisan committee in Washington, D.C. So let's just see how that goes. I think it's going to be a good thing for artists in the future. I think it'll be a good thing for artists like myself, especially with the rise of AI, because there's going to be millions of artists, dude. And yeah, the pot's going to be small, but everybody should get their share. So
I love the fact that
I commend Gene Simmons.
I love the fact that he ended it by asking them how long they've been a couple and let them know that he had a hot chick with him. What a great way to end it. What a great way to end it. Kind of ended their career lightweight.
Yeah, I mean, it's Gene's just being honest. Gene's just being Gene. That's
Yeah.
all. I mean, you got the real Gene Simmons this time, and that was pretty cool.
Yep. That's
You know
for
what
sure.
I mean? You got the real Gene, and he's never going to tell them who he voted for. It's never going to happen. We're never going to officially know. And you know what? It's none of my fucking business. Just like you said. So I ain't going to press it. What about you, Bird?
I'm not pressing it at all. And on that note, we're going to end it. So I want to thank God most of all. I'd like to thank my family. I'd like to thank Double D. I'd like to thank the audience. Double D, it's on to you.
As always, Bird, thank you for making the show happen every week, because without you, we don't have this show. Audience, obviously goes without saying, without you, we don't have a show anyway. And most importantly, though, I would like to thank the audience. Thank you, Bird. Thank my family for tolerating this every week. And also, most importantly, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for letting me be here to bring this message to you in the first place. And with that, good night, y'all.
All right, everybody, have a good one. Peace.